today another live stream with a little bit of a precision aiming. I just started, so don't mind me if I miss few. But we're gonna go over basically how this tool works and how I practice every single day. Okay, so I'm gonna start with really easy, where I just put the ball like this, and I just don't focus whether it's a stop shot or drawback like this. I just basically make at least 10 to 20 balls through the ring without touching it. Okay, so why am I doing this every single day? It's because even if you practice every other day or whatnot, you need to get your whole body, you need to get it um, basically warmed up, especially if you have some tournament going on or anything. Because sometimes, like for example, if I go to the gym, which I did last night, um, my stroke is a little bit different than what it would be in different, um, like some other different days, right? Um, anyways, we'll get these out. So we made 6 balls with no problem. And then, hi everyone. And then I'm going to basically uh, just start doing, like, let's say combos like this. Okay, this is not something that's easy to do. Why? It's because the diameter is not working. I mean, I have to hit this ball and this ball and this ball perfectly to go through this little ring. And that's what the problem. Uh, See, and now I'm gonna make even this one. So that was a combo. Well, you see what I did here, right? I touched the ring, but I made the pocket. So it's not about making the pocket. Really, it's not making about making the pocket. It's more about like precision, right? This here, the diameter is basically a snooker table size. Hi everyone. By the way, I'm just not only practicing. So let me get you here like this. I'm not only practicing, I'm actually, you know, showing you this, how this whole thing works and why I became a really, really precise pool player. Where, for example, I could set this up a little bit off like this. That means that I need to actually hit it through here or through here, right? And obviously, I'm going for the middle. Um, this in itself, when I started, I built it for myself first, and then I was, some professionals and whatnot, they were asking for it, like, hey, where can I get this? So I did that for them, and they're like, super cool. Why don't you, like, put this out in a pool community? And guess what I did? I did that. Um, so it goes pretty quick. It comes with, so I start with this big ring, which is a little bit, it's not too bad, like about this. So about 3 millimeters um, bigger than a normal size ball, right? And by the way, for you, all of you that's coming in, all 40 of you right now, probably it's gonna be 300 in a minute or so. Um, if you do have a question, and I really, really appreciate if you do a thumbs up or like, liking the video, just because I really want to do these often and whatnot. But so, and if you have any questions, whether you're a pro or, yeah, well, if you're a pro, you shouldn't be asking me any questions, um, because it just, you should know everything, just like pretty much I do. Um, but if you have any questions regards to how to do anything, like we can do a kick shot, we can do bank shots, we can do short three. What is a short three? Short three is basically short three rail, right? So for example, I'll just give you an example. Let me see if I can set this up. So short three, you have to always, let me do it from this side like this. Okay. So there's a side pocket, right? and then here, let me do it this way, and then here you have first the diamond. So this ball, okay, in most cases it has to hit basically towards this half of the ring or a half of the diamond, right? So it does something like that, okay. That comes handy when, for example, that comes handy when you are blocked right there, right? And then you have a uh, you're blocked like that, but then you have a, you know, uh, you have an option to either bank it, but let's say this pocket here that you don't see, it's also blocked, but you can make it towards that pocket, right? So I'll attempt to do it. I haven't done it today, but basically it hit the edge of the pocket, so it didn't go well. Um, let's redo it. It was actually perfectly execution to hit it. So again, this pocket is blocked, that pocket is blocked. So short three. I'm just basically telling you about a terminology, okay? So that's a short three, and I should be making it. Like I said, I'm not into it today. Uh, not even looking, but I'm explaining what short three means when someone tells you in a pool community, "Oh, this one was going," but I made the sidewalk, the cue ball. Um, well, that's because usually when you do a short three, you do not want to do a drawback or leave the cue ball right about here. Okay, so let's do same, but now this time I'm going to actually hit the forward, right? Um, and then it goes towards the side pocket, right? Well, you didn't see it. Anyways, hi everyone. Like I said, that was a short three. The long three is uh, similar. It's just that you're going basically uh, three rails. Right now, let's practice a little bit. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, please do ask me in the chat. I don't know if I enabled it only for subscribers. If you don't mind subscribing, that would be amazing. Thumbs ups. All right, so you saw that? I touched it. I mean, I made a pocket. That's fine, but I touched that ring, so that means I was a little bit off. Okay, why did that? Why does that happen? Well, even though this is straight line and everything, sometimes on a cue ball, right? On a cue ball, you basically here's let me take another one on the cue ball, right? So you have this. I have this professional one. Um, on a cue ball, instead of hitting like straight here, right, you basically do either a right or a left spin or bottom whatnot. So when you hit this way, the ball goes the opposite way. That's why that happens, right? Usually. Or you did not just simply hit the ball the way it's supposed to. So there, this was easy to me, very easy. um, what's harder is if I get a smaller ring, which is this one, okay, this ring, I mean, you can see the difference, right? You can see the difference. It's like big difference. If I do that one, and you can actually see on a cue ball too, like how small that is. This for this you need to be extremely super precise. With the cue ball, with a I usually start practicing my day with the precision ring. Uh, by the way, you can get it on my store, but I usually start like this, okay, where I basically take the cue ball and then I just try to make it through, and then I'll take another cue ball, right, and then I'll start making it through, okay, but then I'll do something like extreme, which is basically this. Now this is like not easy at all, but we'll try to make it, okay. I made it. So I made one. By the way, I should not be doing with this one. This one for me is a little bit throws me off when this cue ball I only use when I'm practicing uh, some precision. You saw that. right? Um, well, this cue ball is really good when you're practicing, and it's, you know, uh, when you're practicing your cue ball control. That one is really good because when you are shooting into the cue ball, right, it leaves a mark. Okay, I don't know where right now there was right here. Anyways, you can't see it. It's like very light because it's green light. Um, and then it tells you exactly where you hit the cue ball. So every time you set it up the way it's supposed to, it will always tell you whether you hit it here or a little bit above center or this. So that's this ball, perfect. Um, it's a little bit more expensive, I believe. I mean, expensive. I think it's expensive for what it is, but then again, um, not many people buy it. So, like you guys know, demand versus supply, right? Uh, I don't know how much I paid. I believe it was like $50 or something like that. Anyways, but my ring, $7. You get three of these, three different sizes. I'm not selling it. I'm just telling you guys about it. Um, but anyways, I just want my pool community to become better and better because one of the pros I'm not going to name, he said you have to put this out, and I did about I don't know 2 3 months ago. Anyways, so uh, this is a perfect draw shot, right? So I'm practicing draws. If you, like I said, if you guys have any questions, by the way, do thumbs up. If you guys have any questions, please let me know about anything. We can talk about, I don't know, banking, uh, draw shot, forward. Like, I just did a little bit of draw, but this is something like this here is forward, right? But a lot of people do this mistake, right? Where you hit the ball and then you do too much forward, right? Um, so what can you do in that case? Well, let's say we have an eight ball, um, like right here, right? So let's practice that. We have an eight ball right there. Okay. This is like very straight, right? Let me just do this. Okay. I'll try to attempt with the ring. I never did that before, but you can. So this is a straight shot, and guys know, there's few things you can do in this case. Okay, one thing you can do is something like with the cue ball control, whereas you do that right, and then you have a good shot on the eight ball. But if you do too much, this is what happens, right? So what can you also do? Well, you can do a drawback with a little bit of a bottom. So on this, if I'm showing you on here, with so this is center. So with a little bit of a, bottom right or bottom left. Okay, what would that happen? So when you do that, you can do something like this, right? And then you have a shot on the eight ball. Again, this is not a bad one either. Um, it's all about preference, and sometimes it's not an eight ball, right? So you have to think about two other balls, let's say ahead, right? So that's where it becomes really, really important what kind of cue ball control you have and to practice cue ball control. So like in this case, what I'm gonna attempt to do is I have to do a little bit distance. What I'm going to attempt to do is basically going to put the top left English or high left English in this case, or on this ball. Okay, so about right here. What should happen is that this ball goes in, okay, but when the cue ball hits, that top left should actually, go that way. Um, Now, because actually, never mind. I actually told that skipped that part. Uh, it should be top right or high right. Why? Because what I want to happen is that this ball goes that way, but when it hits, I want this to happen. Okay, so that top moves the ball forward, and that right should actually hit the rail and then come back here or somewhere around there. Let's try to do that. It's a little bit hard, but we'll try. Okay. Uh, so that's the cue ball control that I was looking for, right? I don't have really a good shot on the 8 ball. So what did I do wrong? Is basically I did not I did not put too much power in it. So that's pretty much that. So if I would have done it, to, if I wouldn't be talking, let's try again. So again, top right, we hit here. Because of that right spin, it should come back here. Okay. Just a second. Let me align that. No, that did not work at all. That was even worse. I don't know. I just today I don't know. I need to if I do it without this ring, I'll definitely do it. Uh, this wasn't aligned at all for the pocket. That's number one. Okay. All right. Let's do top right again. Well, how about I chalk? Okay, that was embarrassing. Look at this. Right here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I totally forgot to chalk. That's because I'm doing this live, and I'm not focused on anything. I'm more focused on talking with you guys. I'm waiting for some questions. Um, let's do it again, but this time, all right. This time I'm gonna get this guy away. Okay. I am getting now a little bit more annoyed. Again, this is a straight shot, but with the top left, uh, I should get that perfect. Can you guys see the cue ball at all? No, you cannot. All right, so it's a straight shot, right? Let's do, there it is. This is a straight shot. Okay, this is not too bad. Again, if I would have hit a little bit off, I would be perfect here. So, but that's about that cue ball control I was telling you about. That everyone should practice, and seems like me too today. I don't know. I just came from the 9 foot table, so for me it's a little bit different. Um, by the way, I don't know where you guys are from, uh, but do let me know if you have any questions. And I'm going to go back to the normal practice of going through this ring, okay? And I'll do some draw shots and everything like that. As long as you guys can see. Hey, recommend to get better at the beginner at the pool. I heard Play Great Pool is good book and former CGY stance and stroke trainer. Now that's definitely true. Yes. If you are a beginner, like literally just started, or like you, let's say you can make this straight shot obviously without the ring, um, but uh, you know, stance is definitely important. I definitely agree with you on that. Um, and pre-stroke, right? I actually did not even. That's the part, when I'm doing this live, I'm not focused on the game itself, right? So, and where am I hitting the cue ball or anything like that? I just do it blindly, for right now. Um, but pre-stroke is right. So pre-stroke is, some have a different pre-strokes. I was explaining this to someone. Some people have where they just aim at the cue ball, they leave it there, and they just do this. Okay, and that's fine. Oh, my cue got a little bit loose. Um, so, and that's fine. And then you have people that will do exactly the same thing, but or and then they would do one, two. They would do this for like a long time. Me personally, without even thinking, I usually do a three pre-strokes, which is enough for me personally. Um, my pre-stroke looks something like this, where I will basically align where I need to hit the cue ball. and then I'll do one more pre-stroke, and then the last one, okay, you're not seeing it, but the last one I would be looking at the object ball, okay, because now I know that the first pre-stroke, this is where I need to hit. Second one is this is where I'm going to hit definitely, and then third one um, is I'm looking at the object ball. So that's how that's why the pre-strokes are extremely important. And number two, what's important also in pool, if you're new to pool and whatnot, uh, let me just do this real quick like this, just so I align it. What another thing that's really important is a follow through. Okay, some people are okay with not doing a follow through. Me personally, I'm not. So what is a follow through? Follow through is like, you don't do it like this and then, you lift your cue up, or I don't know, whatever. When you're doing that, you basically, once you hit the cue ball, right here, you follow through. Okay. People say, people will say that should not matter. As soon as you hit the cue ball, um, you know, you hit it where you hit it. That is true, right? However, when you're practicing, your backstroke, right, your backstroke needs to be aligned, right? So this is also why this precision tool I built. Your backstroke needs to be aligned, okay, for that. So it would look something like this, okay, where you follow through, okay. And yes, in a follow through, you basically are practicing your whole line from the tip of the shaft. Okay, so this is, by the way, for those that might not know, top part is shaft. This is a cue or cue, whatnot, the whole cue. But this here is shaft. So from the tip of your, um, from the tip off the shaft is where it starts, and it goes back to your dominant eye. Okay, and then it goes back to your elbow, or actually shoulder, back to your elbow, and then your whole stance basically with the legs and everything. I haven't done a video on the stance itself. By the way, if you guys don't mind hitting the like button or thumbs up, appreciate it. Hopefully I'm helping some of you that are listening, all 50 of you right now. There's 60 already. That's nice, nice. Hopefully we can get, so again, I'm gonna do a, the cue ball needs to stop right here. Okay. Ah, that was a little bit weak. So let's do it again. I don't know what's going on. Well, I do know what's going on with me today. Yesterday, going skiing for 4 hours, and then plus the gym. My stroke definitely is suffering. But um, what I wanted to say, uh, this is the reason. But I don't have any tournaments this week, obviously. I'm not going to have any matches or tournaments or anything. I'm going to practice still, even though I don't have any tournaments or matches with any opponents. I'm still practicing to this day, every single day. So we're gonna do a top left. That did not work well. Um, I was supposed to do a top left. So when you're hitting, see, this is what I mean by that pre-stroke. I didn't even do the pre-stroke or anything. Let's try that again. uh, but this time I need to align this the way it's supposed to be. Okay. Then we're gonna go into the cut shots with this. It's actually really fun. Um, so again, I'm gonna do a pre-stroke and then follow through. There you go. That's what I wanted to happen. So cut shots with this tool, you can also do it by pointing this into the pocket. Okay. It gets harder and harder the more away it is. Okay. Why is because if the ball is right next to this and also the rail, the throw, okay, the induced throw is smaller, meaning that like when you're hitting this ball, like it does you're not it doesn't go straight. It actually kind of like shifts, right? So let's do some cut shots. For this, I'm gonna do a bottom right, okay, and that didn't work. Let's set it up back. But again, it's just a practice, and this is why it makes me better. Did I do it right? Does this go right? Yeah, now it's set up. I think that's why I hit it the first one the wrong way. Yep. It wasn't aligned. That's why. So this makes it really good. Um, so let me take a look. Okay, now this one again. I need to set it up that way. Okay, there you go. All right. Again, I'm just going to do straight, and then I'm gonna do a little bit further, right? So you see, I'm going further and further, right? Um, Let me see if this is set up the way it's supposed to. Nope. There you go. So then you go further and further, and this is where I need to practice, right? But again, I made a pocket, but touch this. This is why that precision comes into your mind, because I was explaining in some other places when you're practicing these. So there's two ways or three ways actually to make this pocket. Okay, the pockets are bigger, right? So sometimes you want to hit this edge of the pocket, right? That way it hits this inside of the pocket and then goes in, right? Let me move you guys a little bit just because. So it'll look something like this. Okay, you saw that it hit here and then inside and then comes back in here. Okay, so that's one way. The second way, um, and by the way, recommended way, it would be basically hit, pointing this ball towards this pocket. Let me just move it. Basically, inside pocket, but out inside the pocket, but onto the left side in this case, right? Just a second, let me do it. Okay, that's much easier. And then obviously, why do I have this ring? Is because I don't want to even think about left or right or anything like that. Only if I have to, meaning that it has to go straight through, okay? Like literally straight through. I'm going to do a little stop. Okay, there you go. You guys have any questions? Please ask them now. Um, I'm gonna set up here for a little bit more, and then I have to bounce. I have to go a little bit, and I hope for those of you that are still around, um, I might do another live session, just telling people, hey, um, you know, cheating the pocket and stuff like that, right? So, why am I keep on hitting this guy? My stroke today, like I said, that's the that's the part of a going to a gym and do 4 hour skiing, um, where you really have a like your backstroke hurts a little bit. So I have to adjust, but I have to adjust for today. Tomorrow when I'm practicing and I'm not hurt, in my biceps, triceps, or anything like that, then I have to go back to the normal way. But let's say if I'm playing against someone today, which I probably will, some friend, we're gonna probably practice another 2 3 hours. Um, yeah, so this is good. Not too bad, not too bad. So let's do this again. No, I know why. You see what I mean? Like when the ball hit the 8 ball, I did the bottom right, inside right, and the ball when it hit, it came back this way. Just a moment. Let's do 5 more balls, but this time we're gonna do a draw shot, okay? So we're gonna do a draw. I was explaining this multiple times, but draw shot on so the top part is where you are learning your jump. Okay, so your jump is the top, and then the bottom part is where you draw. Okay, so your cue ball or your tip needs half of or your half of your tip needs to, or like tip is right here. This is where you need to hit in order to have that nice uh, nice drawback. Okay, there's also obviously the speed is involved, and on top of that, sometimes when you hit it too hard and not chalk, for example, um, you will jump the ball. By the way, so you're gonna jump. Okay, let me just level this up. Okay, so there it is. So draw again, half a tip or full tip below the center. Okay, just normal draw. I didn't do it too hard because I wanted to show you also a follow through, meaning that I didn't want to this to happen. Watch. So sometimes when you have a drawbacks or draw shots, so when you do something like that and you do a follow through on this distance, okay, this is what's gonna happen. Well, I didn't do it the right way. Let me do it again. I was more focused on the speed. It will. All right, let's do it again. Here, this is what's gonna happen. And it happened to me sometimes, and I hate because it's a perfect, unnecessary foul right there. You saw that? So be be cautious when you're doing drawbacks. Whether on this distance, the follow through my introduce double tap, right, or double hit on a cue ball, and then it happened to me so many times where you know because I'm just used to do a draw, I mean follow through. So you see the follow through is right here, so you have to be really quick to come back. But that's the so something like this, right? Okay, kind of like uh hitting it really quick. So now let's do a draw shot a little bit like that. Okay, so now we have a distance of what? About 2 feet away, something like that. So we're gonna chalk, obviously, number one. And I need to align this. So I'll show you something here. So this is also a draw. See, I leave it the way it is, right? That's where you can do. Was I happy with this draw? Not really. Um, why? Because when I did this draw, for some of you that might have seen, basically the cue ball went this way, right? I want to go straight. Okay, that means that I did a little bit of a bottom right, just a little bit. So there you go. That's better, much better. So now you know how the draw shots work. What else do you guys want me to explain here? Um, oh yeah, the fun one was basically how to make 2 balls um, when it's something like this, right? How do you make these? The the easiest way to explain and to do, okay, when they're pretty much like in par, like you can do a double hit. So if you hit really hard, like I'm about to do, okay, this is what you're gonna end up with. Okay, that bounce, it's gonna actually bounce a little bit, and if you didn't hit it right, it's gonna go this way or that way. Okay, I made an opponent's ball. Now its opponent has a shot, and they're gonna just do this, right, and win. So, um, in most leagues, okay, in most leagues, we're not talking about bar rules. In bar rule, you have to explain exactly, right, what's going to happen. I'm going to pocket the 8 ball here. I'm going to touch off of the 4. Okay, right? That's bar rules. In most of the leagues, you have to just call the pocket. So how do you do this one? It's basically you can play a top, okay, very slow, okay, and you can make it that way. Another way to make it, which is one of my more favorite, because of that top, you can actually scratch, right? So how do you do this? It's basically you put a little bit of a bottom. So what's gonna happen with the cue ball when I do a bottom? First, it's gonna go, backwards, and when it hits that 8 ball, it's going to introduce that backward spin, but onto the 8 ball, it's going to introduce the forward spin, right? So it naturally wants to go forward, right, while the cue ball still goes backwards. I didn't do it right. That was too much. I didn't do it right because the cue ball did not go back. So let's do it again. I just saw a question that threw me off a little bit. Let me see. um, when you shoot a side spin, do you aim the natural line, then pivot line you cue after that for the spin? When you shoot a side spin, you mean like if when I do a like a side spin, like a left or right spin, do I start here and then I do it like that? No. I go with the pivot line basically, or the way you said it. I basically, um, sometimes, I mean, obviously, you want to kind of go that way, but in very rare occasions, so I mean, that's in very rare occasion, and I can tell you when. But when you are doing this, you're basically shifting the whole part, and then you're doing so. Basically, it's a straight here, right? Uh, hopefully that kind of explains. So let's do another one of those draw. Okay, you saw now the ball went back a little bit, and I made that shot just perfectly fine. Hopefully that explains all of that. So, anyways, so let me try something here. Just a second. For some reason today, okay, that's not too bad, not too bad. And I was trying to make it through the um, hoop here. Okay, that's one of the parts that also helps you with with your uh, cue ball control, where you're trying to make the pocket, and at the same time, like well, you see, I was off by a lot. Supposed to come back here, so it's really good. So is it natural to shift your bridge hand for the spin? Uh, is it natural to shift? What do you mean? Can you repeat that question? I'm is it natural to? So bridge, bridge. Doesn't matter whether you're making a closed one or open, right? Um, or even the V. It doesn't matter. Your bridge should never move. Like literally, let's say if I'm doing a closed bridge, you see, I like your bridge should never move, okay, ever. That's where a lot of people. I actually had this incident last week. I was watching a lady playing a pool, like just for the show, she had a good geometry and everything, like, to make the pocket, but her problem was with holding the bridge, right? So the way she was doing it was like this. Okay, so you see this movement here. So even if you are like perfect, you see how my thumb is moving when I'm doing this. It should not look, it has to be straight, like, you should not move, your hand should never move, your bridge should never move. So um hopefully that explains it. All right, let's try to do this. Come on. Okay, that was not too bad. Anyways, I gotta bounce. I'm sorry, cutting it loose a little bit, or loose. I'm cutting it a little bit short today. I might come back today if you guys wanna. But thank you for subscribing. Again, this is in my shop. If you guys want, I'm sending it. I'm printing it today for you, and I'll send it out to you today for you. So you're gonna get it. I don't know, by New Year's or somewhere around there. Anyways, wish you guys good holidays and happy New Year's if I don't see you. Thank you.